Hip number 77 is a horse owned by Jesse Armstrong, Big Valley, Alberta, being ridden here today by Cash Bonnet. BSR Danny. The barn name is Moonshine. We're looking at a 5-year-old gelding. Yeah. How about a 4-1-0? 4-1-0. 74 from judge number 1 is 74 from judge number 2 is 76 on your time score for a total of 224. 224 for BSR Danny. Hip number 78, here's Taylor Fuelling. Taylor Fuelling on Smart Talic. She calls this a 6-year-old gelding Chance. Bought in a ranch horse sale as a 4-year-old. Been getting used at the Pro Rodeos and the Breakaway Roping here this year. We're watching Taylor Fuelling. And it's going to be a 4-0-1 plus a barrier 4-0-1. 72 and a 72 from both our judges. And a 66 on your time to be a 210. A 210 in the field for Taylor Fuelling. 79, we watched this one a little bit earlier in the healing, earlier in the day. Here be Connie Cassidy and Pablo Robles from Donalda, Alberta. We're watching Dunnett's Hickory Gun. Pablo Robles doing the breakaway roping here today. Yes, sir. 4-1-3, 4-1-3. 74.5, and our second judge, 74. 76 on the time for a total of 224.5. Good job. Hip number 80. We watched this one in the heading just a few moments ago. This is Dawson Graham aboard Pep Smart Gunner. We're watching Shooter. We mentioned in the heading it was a breakaway heading and calf horse. Now we get to see the other side. Yeah, it's going to be a 3-0-7, 3-0-7 in the field. 75.5, 75.5, 73 from our second judge. 77 on the time for a total of 225.5, 225.5. Good run. We're going all the way to Pincher Creek, Alberta. Randy and Nina Smith bringing us Hollywood Knights. They call this horse Wages. We're looking at a 6-year-old, 5-year-old gelding. 5-year-old gelding from the Smiths. From Mr. Hollywood Rooster by Gallo DiCello. Here's a Gallo DiCello. And it's going to be a 3-0-6. 72, 72, and 77 for a grand total. 221, 221 for Hollywood Knights and Randy Smith. Here's hip number 83. Hip number 83, we're going to go with Hillbilly Hollows, Big Shine in Cowtown. Big Shine in Cowtown. Had a great day in the healing earlier in the Futurity. Cody Potts going to be doing some breakaway roping on this good stud here. 5-year-old stud from Hillbilly Hollows. This is your Shining Spark bred stud we watched earlier in the healing. 72.5, 72.5 from our first judge. 72.5 from our second judge. 76 on the time score. 221, 221 for Big Shine and Cowtown and Hillbilly Hollows. Let's go to 84. 84, we're back to Taylor Fuelling. She's on Gunner's Done It Fancy. You just watch this buckskin in the heading portion of the Futurity here today. We're going to go breakaway roping now. 5-year-old gelding we've been talking about. Purchased from Aaron Miller in Cremona, Alberta as a 4-year-old. This horse has been to the Pro Rodeos in the breakaway. Yes, ma'am. It's going to be a 4-86. 4-86 for Gunner's Done It Fancy. 74.5, a 74.5. 72. And a 76 for your timed score. Going to be a 222.5, a 222.5 for Taylor and Gunner's Done It Fancy. We're going back to round number 2. Again, our judges, Mr. Steve Thiessen and Murray Pohl. Respected calf ropers right from here in central Alberta. Yes, I still call it calf roping. Hope you do too. All right, well, let's kick off round number 2. Round number 2 is Hip 77. It's Cash Bonnet aboard BSR Danny. 5-year-old gelding owned by Jesse Armstrong of Big Valley. Was a 224 on the first one, a 224 on the first round. Well, it's going to be a 2:68. Too bad for that barrier. 2:68 plus the barrier. 72. A 72 from our first judge. 68.5 from our second judge. A 68 on your time score. 0.5. We're putting a half point on there as well. 208.5 for Cash Bonnet and BSR Danny. All right. We're watching Taylor Fuelling. Smart Talic, 6-year-old gelding. Taylor Fuelling. Atta girl. It's going to be a 3:84, 3:84 in the field for the second one. 74.5, a 74.5 from our first judge. 73 from our second judge. 77 on your time score for a total of 224.5. 224.5 for Taylor Fuelling and Smart Talic. Draw number 80, as we mentioned before, we just watched him in the heading here a while ago. Dawson Graham aboard a Pep Smart Gunner. It's going to be Shooter. 225.5 in the first round. With a 3.07, a 3:07 to go with that 225.5. And this multi-talented, multi-event 5-year-old gelding from Dawson Graham. Co-owned with Cora Borman. Wainwright, Alberta. Well, there's a good run there. We're looking at a 3:29, a 3:29, 75.5, a 75.5, 73, 77 for your time score for a total of 225.5, 225.5. 2 of them in a row. Good job there, Dawson. Number 81, we're looking at Hollywood Knights. Wages, they call this, a 5-year-old gelding from the Smith family at Pincher Creek, Alberta. There you go. It's going to be a 3:85, a 3:85 in the field. 75.5, a 75.5 from judge number 1. 74.5 from judge number 2. 77 is equals out to a 227. 227, new high score right there. Good job, Randy. And Hollywood Knights. We're going to 83. 83, Hillbilly Hollows. They're back on Big Shine in Cowtown. Boy, I like this stallion here that's been showing off all day. They were a 221 on their first one, a 478 to go along with that score. Cody Potts aboard Big Shine in Cowtown. They call him champion for a reason. Pretty happy with the 2021 full crop out of this stud. If you're interested in breeding to him for 2022, contact Hillbilly Hollows. Robin Walker, one of our great sponsors here today. Yes, sir, I like it. It's a 5:22, a 5:22, 74, judge number 1, a 74. A 70 even, a 70 from judge number 2, and a 75 on your time score for a total of 219. 219 to go with that 5:22. All right, there's 2 down there. Let's go to 84. 84, we're watching Taylor Fuelling back on Gunner's Done It Fancy. Another breakaway horse that was looking really good in the heading portion of the Fall Classic. Way to take advantage of that crossover there. It's going to be a 4:18, 4:18. 4:18, we're looking at scores, going to be 75.5, a 75.5, judge number 1. 76 from judge number 2. And a 76 on your timed score. 227.5. 227.5. All right, let's go to hip number 85. 85, we're watching Pablo Robles. Connie Cassidy's AMF Pinero. They call him Galito. Here's a 4-year-old gelding, a 4-year-old. And it's a 2.98, a 2.98, 2.98. 74 to lead us off with, a 74. A 72 followed up by a 78 on your time score for a total of 224. 224 for Pablo Robles and AMF Pinero. Let's go back to round number 3. We're starting round number 3. We're going to go with draw number 77. That is Cash Bonnet on BSR Danny. They call him Moonshine. Going to be that 5-year-old gelding of Jesse Armstrong's from Big Valley, Alberta. You got him. 3-0-4 plus a barrier. 3-0-4 plus that barrier. 72 from our first judge. 72 from our second. 67 on the time score. 211 for Cash Bonnet and BSR Danny Moonshine. Let's go to hip number 80. We're going to watch Dawson Graham on Pep Smart Gunner. Here comes Shooter. They're at 225.5 on the last 2 rounds each. Multi-event pony right here, a 5-year-old gelding. And they're going to add to it here. It's going to be a 433. 73 from one of our judges, judge number 1. Judge number 2, going to be a 70 along with 76 on your time score. 219, it's going to be a 2-19 for Dawson Graham and Pep's Smart Gunner. 81, we're watching Hollywood Knights. I like this horse. Randy calls them Wages. Brought to us by Randy and Nina Smith, Pincher Creek, Alberta. 227, one of the high scores of the last round was a 385. Hollywood Knights. And it's going to be a 463 plus 10. 463 in the field plus that barrier. A 73.5, a 73.5 from our first judge. A 69 from our second judge. And a 66 because of that barrier there gives us a 208.5, a 208.5 for Randy and Hollywood Knights. And we're going to go ahead with hip number 83. Hip number 83, here comes Champion. Champion is Big Shine in Cowtown. Hillbilly Hollows was a 219 on the last round to 221 in the first round. Saw him in the healing. In fact, did very well in the healing here today. Mr. Big Shine in Cowtown. If you weren't here during the healing, I tell you what, you looked pretty good, and you looked really good right there. Here's 481, a 41 in the field. Going to be a 73.5, a 73.5. 72 along with a 76 for a time score for a total of 221.5, 221.5 for Big Shine in Cowtown. Here be Taylor Fuellen again on Gunners, done it fancy. Hefe, 486 and a 418 in the last 2 rounds, 227.5. Might have been our high score in round number 2. Let's add to it. Well, she draw a good one here. It's going to be a 4-0-8, 74.5, a 74.5 along with a 72 and a 76 on our time score. 222.5, 222.5 for Gunners, done it fancy and Taylor Fuelling. We're on to draw number 85. Draw number 85, number 9 in your breakaway roping. Connie Cassidy, Denaldo, Alberta, bringing us AMF Pinero. They call him Galito. And it's going to be a 3-9-0. 74 with a 73 and a 77 on your score. 224, just patterns after the second round. 224s right there on your second and third one, Pablo. Good job. Here's hip number 86. Randy Smith is on cricket. Cole Horn, Brent Horn, the owners of this horse in Wainwright, Alberta. There it is. Got one captured. It's going to be a 2.91. 2.91 for Randy and Cricket. Going to be a 71. A 71 from our first judge, second judge. 72. Going to be a 78 for the time score. 221. 221 for Randy and Cricket. Good job. Let's go to number 87. Here's Clay McNichol and Cutie. Can't say enough about this yellow mare, what the way she works. We watched her in the heading. We're watching her in the breakaway roping. Clay becoming a quite widely versed calf roper as well. Yes, sir. 4 and 74. 4 and 74. 72 from our first judge. 72 across the board is with a 76 for a time score for a total of 220. 220 for Clay and Cutie. Well, that ends the third round. We're going to the fourth.